shout out the Oregon Duck. Thank you for doing America service this week, begging America to not care about the 6-7 thing anymore. It's literally everywhere in my life. If it's not in a sports game because a girls' team scored 67 points, it is any mention of 6 and 7 close together, my kids. 6, 7. I am, at some point, this has to die. It has to.
I don't have kids at that age, but I know on Thanksgiving when I'm around my nieces and nephew, they're going to be doing it the entire time.
Do you go in and just tell them how absolutely idiotic
kids
and
don't
moronic?
care.
No.
You're old and out of touch. They don't care.
So if you
say that makes them want to do it more.
No, why would you? Okay, first of all, I
didn't know which way to go. Yeah. I don't know which way to go, but so then you just ignore it.
This is what you did to your kid whenever he was doing an annoying thing? You would just go in and say, "You're really annoying." Is that what you did?
Do you realize how annoying this is right now?
No, I'd ask him. I would go into the why. I would play the why game with him.
Yeah, but like the why is because everybody does it.
Yeah, it's because it's a cool, trendy thing.
So then what do you do if he keeps doing
it? Kids.
Yeah, it's
the only way to do it is ignore it. I tried this with my niece one time. I told her, "Do you realize how dumb that is?" I said those
everybody
exact
picked
words.
their nose and ate their boogers. Are you doing that?
Yeah, you got to fall through on that one.
God,
Everybody went and jumped off a bridge. Would you go jump off a bridge?
Yep, you're doing the bridge thing.
You just ignore it. I'm gonna ignore it on Thanksgiving. Act like it doesn't exist.
They still say, like they still do it as if it's the first time they.
It'll
6, 7.
Remember when
Either that or I'd ask them actually what does that signify and mean? Like, give me, like...
No, they'll tell you the answer, and then they'll still want to do it. Everything you're saying is not going to work.
Do they have an answer?
There's an answer. There's a response.
There's
it's
a
really
song.
stupid. It doesn't mean it's not stupid, but
it's a song?
It's a thing.
It's a reference, yeah. It's a social media thing. You have not been a parent for a long time.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you're a little out to lunch on this one. I gotta admit.
Very glad to be out to lunch on this one.
Yeah, well, you'll get used to it with your grandkid. Let's get to the Lincoln Riley was trolled in the post game. So this is a former USC student who's now a reporter, and USC loses to Oregon. Here was the question by the reporter and the answer.
I was confused and decided college game day this morning from an Oregon fan that said extend Lincoln Riley's contract. What are your thoughts on the fact that Oregon fan base are happy about the fact that the coach of USC since they don't need it reflected that?
That might be the dumbest question I've been asked as long as I've been a head coach, and I've been asked a lot of questions. You ought to feel a little embarrassed to ask that question. This is a professional thing. You ought to try it.
So if you couldn't hear that because it was a little tough audio-wise, the guy basically said, there's a sign of game day that basically said extend you. They don't fear you. How does it make you feel? And he was obviously being Lincoln Riley, very sensitive and thin-skinned.
Was not an Oregon fan. The reporter was on social media like, okay, I guess my mentions are going to blow up. He picked up 1,000 followers because I think a lot of USC fans who are frustrated with their current state of their program are like, thanks for asking that question.
Well, Matt Leinert's telling me everything's great.
Everything's great. They're so close. They're a couple plays away.
Yeah.
They're just right there, man.
They're just right
Clean it up
there.
here, clean it up there, and you're going to get over the hump. That's all you got to do. I have a really hard time with them. I understand and acknowledge that they've gotten better this year. We talked about them last week in this way. Like, winning against Iowa is probably a game the last 2 years that they lose. Like,
when you win 6 games, it's pretty easy at USC to be, we've gotten better this year.
Right.
You've beaten it by 2 games.
You've
yeah,
gotten 2
there
games
you go.
better. And
Good
they're
job.
probably going to blow out UCLA this weekend, who, by the way, UCLA, we're not going to talk about it today.
They rolled over and died.
The worst fake field goal I have ever. Did you see the highlight of that? Where he tried the LSU toss over the head, and the Husky player was right there and ran it back for a touchdown?
Dirt, that was the only way I watched the game was with the highlights. I was not having my Saturday night robbed by Washington, UCLA.
That game was very ugly, and that was a hilarious moment. So they're probably going to blow out UCLA, but I go back to the idea that I talked about last week and flip the roles here. And if Oregon's best year under Dan Lanning was winning 10 games and going to the Pac-12 title in year 1, and then winning 7 and then 6 or whatever it was last year, and then 9-3 is now your high water mark that you're happy about.
In year 4.
Yeah. I would be incredibly frustrated as an Oregon fan, and I would say, what are we doing? Like, why is this taking so long?
You would have been there, though, at 6-6.
I would have been there.
6 would have pissed you off.
And I get the difference is that Lincoln Riley had the track record coming in, and look how good he was at Oklahoma, but I love that question was asked. Probably not the most professional thing to do, probably not the right setting for it, but it did strike a nerve with him. And it made me laugh because it was the exact thought that I had last weekend. I had people telling me I shouldn't be so confident going into the game. The reason I'm confident is because I'm not scared of Lincoln Riley. I'm not scared of Lincoln Riley in big games. I don't think they're going to be able to win at the line of scrimmage. His teams are not tough. They roll over and die. They're bad on special teams.
By the way, Iowa, the big win for teams, or the big, this is how we measure ourselves physically. They needed 10 points in the final minute 20 to beat Michigan State. Suddenly, Iowa not looking like that great of a team.
Yeah.
And so that's their big win this year is Iowa.
Yes, or Michigan early in the year, who is not what Michigan has largely
touche,
been.
You're right. I forgot about the Michigan game, so I'll be fair. I'll
And-
retract
but-
that, but still.
Again, the point is they're both at home. And so there's a difference between winning on the road, and there's a difference between doing it against teams who have talent composite rosters that can compete for national championships, which is what Oregon and Notre Dame have. And it's the only two teams that were on their schedule that had those level of rosters. And in both games, yeah, you flirted around a little bit. You scored early, and you're like, hey, all right, maybe their offense is going to hang around. And then you look up, and you're never really in doubt. Like,
You're out physical.
Even when Oregon was doing a lot of dumb stuff, and boy, did they do a lot of dumb stuff. How about a tight end quarterback sneak when we're running the ball for 5 yards a carry to get stopped on 4th down? How dumb was like there was a lot of moments in that game. Back-to-back plays, defensive pass interference, handing them an easy touchdown. They made a lot of mistakes. Even through all of that, there was never really even a fear in the second half that USC is going to find a way to get another stop and then another score because that's what it was going to have to take. And so I get there's no right way for him to answer that question, probably not the right setting for it, but I'll just tell USC fan, and again, maybe this age is like warm milk out in July. That's how we all feel about USC. He's a brilliant offensive mind. You know they're going to be able to throw the ball on literally everybody they play. He's one of, if not the best developer of quarterbacks. He's always going to have good wide receivers. There is nothing else about USC that scares you.
Do you think that kid's publication is going to make him write an apology email to Lincoln Riley? Lincoln Riley won't respond to or acknowledge ever existed?
I would imagine so. He actually, I'll give the kid some credit. So I watched the entire Lincoln Riley presser, a lot of we're close, play here, play there. 2 powerhouse programs, heavyweight fight.
Swear to God, he said the same stuff last year after losing to Maryland.
All the same stuff. I'll give the kid credit. He asked another question.
Yeah.
He was like, sorry about that first one, and he just fired off another one.
Did Lincoln answer?
And he answered the question.
Oh, okay.
So kind of water under the bridge pretty quickly there.
Buried the hatchet pretty quickly.